Hey guys. How is it going? It's Joy. I'm back. I just washed my hair, so I just braided my hair up and put a hat on. So, yes, you guys, how are you on this Sunday evening? I hope that you all are well. So, like, you guys, I had like the best dinner. Not like the best, but I thought it was pretty good. But it was some rice, some mac and cheese, some cabbage, some veggie chicken nuggets. They're like veggie. It was really good. I really enjoyed my meal. So yeah, I'm feeling very satisfied. I hope that you guys are well and had a good meal. And I also had some pineapple soda with it. Usually I drink my water. I like to have my gallon of water with me here just to, make sure I'm healthy. But yeah, I'm feeling really good, you guys. I hope that you all are feeling good too. Whoops. So, as you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about narcissists, dealing in the workplace or how to handle it. So I actually got asked this question and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about it. So one of my viewers wanted to know, when is it time to leave the job if my boss is a narcissist? What can I do to ease the stress? Now that's a really good question because I actually had one boss that definitely had narcissistic tendencies. And I actually ended up leaving because I ended up doing something else. So that was a good thing. But what I would recommend is, if you're in a job and let's say you don't want to leave, what I would recommend is, just kind of distance yourself from the boss if you can. And if that boss comes nearby you, maybe try to, don't say anything to them. Don't make any eye contact. Just completely continue going on about your day. Try to avoid that person as much as possible. Now, if you need to report to them, definitely be polite, be respectful, and be logical. Don't get, involved emotionally. But just kind of continue doing what you're doing if you have to stay. Now, me, myself, I would never recommend staying, especially, if you're getting mistreated at a job by a narcissistic boss. Definitely like look for something else. You don't deserve to be somewhere where you put in your hard work, your time and your dedication, and you're around these people for like a lot of time of the day, or even years. Like some of us, we stay at jobs for like 10 years, right? But the boss is a narcissist. So I would highly recommend, look for something else. I mean, I would never tell anyone to quit a job and if they don't have anything else to do. I mean, that doesn't make sense, right? So always you want to plan out, how you go about leaving, because again, I don't condone, putting up with mistreatment at a job. Now, I'll kind of tell you guys my story. Now, again, if this is you guys' first time, my name is Joy, and I do help people overcome narcissistic abuse. I am 31 years old. Just for those that are just joining, I've been dealing with narcissists since 2010, and since 2016, I have been helping people overcome narcissistic abuse. And don't forget, you guys, give this video a like. And leave your comments too on how you guys dealt with narcissistic boss and how that worked out for you. Did you decide to leave? Did you stay? But the boss that I was working with, it was interesting because I feel like, all right, this is what happened. So it was a factory job. And I was working there actually for quite a while. They were nice to me in the beginning. I know that's how some employers can be, I guess to kind of get a feel of you and also to make you feel comfortable. So that way, you don't want to leave. Now, this job, it was actually through a contractor. So you work there for a few months and then they decide to hire you in. And so I think I was working there for like a good 3 to 4 months. And then, I guess he was my boss. He actually came up to me. He was like, hey, we want to hire you, with the company, and there's training that you had to go to. And I was like, okay, cool. I wasn't really like super excited, but it was funny. Give me a second, you guys. It was funny though, because we was all on the line, and one of my coworkers was like, oh, you're getting hired in? And I was like, yeah. And then the other guy, he was like, oh, welcome to hell. And I was like, what do you mean welcome to hell? And so I guess I should have really like took heed to what he was saying. But one of the things that I noticed is when I did go to training, they were very hostile towards me. Very like mean. Well, not like super mean, but they was just like, if I would ask them a question, they would look at me as if I was stupid, or like looking at me as if I should have known the answer to the question. I'm sitting here like, well, I'm asking because I don't know. You know what I mean? So, so that was that. And then after the training, I noticed that I was officially hired in. So I guess I was on the company's time. And usually, the boss, I'm not going to say his name, but he would come around, like I'd see him every day previously before I got hired in, and he'd be like, hey, Joy, how you doing? Give me a nice smile and be very welcoming and warm and all that kind of stuff. And I remember the official day that I got hired in, there was some complications with the time clock, like where you had to clock in. And I guess I clocked in a little late, but as the boss, he came over to me, he was like, hey, Joe, did you clock in late? Like, how many minutes late were you? Like being like super strict. And he had never done that to me before at all. Like, and this just happened since I got hired in. So I guess they was more strict on you because you're on the company's time, not versus the, I guess the contractor's time, or the agency. And so that was that. And he was still, saying hi or whatever, but he would do it less. And so, but I noticed though, there was this new lady. Well, she was new to me, but because where I was at, there was 2 plants, right? Where we work, there was plant 1 and plant 2. And I originally started in plant 2, but from time to time they would like switch us to say, hey, you're going to work in plant 1, or you might work in plant 2 or whatever. So, I was over there then. But anyway, so there was this lady that had came over from plant 1. And I just remember when I seen her, like she had no emotions like on her face. Like she was just straight, like just blah, like nothing was like she didn't feel anything almost, And she didn't even like introduce herself, and she only kind of talked to the people that was like higher up, like the managers and supervisors, And then I guess she had became a supervisor, right? Or she was already one, but she was just coming from plant 1 to plant 2. And, she'd come on the line and she wouldn't even say hi to us. And, or, let's say if it was a slow day, she's like, hey, you guys need to pick it up. You need to get on it. Not even really helping us, or not even coming to us and asking us, like, do we need to know something, or do we have questions? Like really trying to help us, And then there was a couple incidents where I think they needed more workers on the line. We needed a lot of help one day. And she'd be like, oh, well, you guys need to pick up the pace. You need to move a little faster, don't you think? She's like, it's a lot of you guys here. Why are you guys not meeting your numbers? Just like very mean, right? And I'm gonna be honest, most of us was Black, and this lady was Caucasian, and so I don't know if it was a race thing, if that was the issue. But she definitely kind of had those narcissistic tendencies, you know what I mean? And in one case too, I remember it was like it'd be another day where, we'd be so busy and, we needed the help, and she'll just come over and pretend like she's helping us, because the factory, we had it set up to where you're working on the line and then you constantly need to get boxes, and somebody needs to like switch them out like continuously. So she's like cutting down the boxes and, kind of opening them up to seem like she's helping us. But I don't know, to me, I just felt like she was doing it just because of people complained about her, in the past. And I actually heard that only reason why she came over to our plant was because she had said something really unprofessional to a worker. And that worker, unfortunately, was Black and she was Caucasian, so that happened. But in regards to the guy boss that I dealt with, in which I had always known to be cool, there was an instance where it was a really busy day, and the line that we was working on, it was not working properly. Like the machine was old and it kept messing up. And so, I guess apparently, we were all working there, and the line leader, he's like, hey, you guys need to pick it up. You need to go faster and all that kinds of things. Give me 1 second, you guys. Come on. It's the case of my cat again. So he was like, yeah, you guys need to pick it up, go faster, right? And so we were all thinking like, okay, we can't go too much faster because this is just literally like a machine. Like we're not robots, you know what I mean? And so I guess he felt like we wasn't listening to him, because pretty much the line got shut down and we were supposed to clean up. And I guess he had given us instructions, but no one really like heard him say anything, right? So I guess he felt as if we wasn't listening to him. So I guess he went and told our boss, and the boss, he came back to us and was like, you guys need to do your work. And he was like, don't be on the line. And if you're told to do something, you need to do it. And, we're not here to waste time. And it was crazy too, because again, all of us were Black. There was like one Hispanic girl, but we just thought it was crazy because it's like, we was never told like what to do specifically, but like, he's just coming at us like we did something wrong. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just kind of felt like that was slightly like him being a covert narc, or, he could have just been a racist. I'm not sure. But I don't know. I just felt like, for one, I wasn't being appreciated. And I told him at the time too, I felt like I was being mistreated as well. Thank you guys for the like. Oh, and then Crystal, you say, hey love, I finally found you. I just wanted to tell you I received the perfume. It smells so bomb. Thank you so much. Oh, awesome. I'm so happy. Yes, you are so welcome. I'm actually doing another giveaway with the reading. So if you're interested, Crystal, let me know. I'm giving away 3 15-minute tarot readings. So if you want to participate in that, let me know. I'm actually choosing the winner tomorrow. But yes, thank you, girl, for letting me know that. Okay, yeah, I got you. But yeah, you guys. So yeah, I just had that experience at my job. I really felt like the one boss, I feel like he was more, well, actually both of the bosses, I feel like they were covert narcs, just because like I just felt like they just really didn't have empathy. I feel like they didn't really understand their employees. I feel like they tried to seem like they did, but I feel like in the end, they never really had they never really cared about their employees. It was all about the results for them. It was all about if we were making money for them. And if we didn't work to their liking, they would come on the line and literally harass us and literally tell us to go faster, or say, oh, do you want to clock out? Like, what's going on? So to me, that's not going to want to motivate me to work harder. It's all actually going to want to make me leave. It's not going to make me want to stay, And what's funny is, and the reason why I was feeling some kind of way when the male boss, he said that to all of us, and he just like went off of what the supervisor said. He didn't actually talk to us and say, hey, like, what's going on? He just assumed like everything that the supervisor said was correct, And previously I had ended up telling them that, an aunt of mine had ended up passing away, and I told him like, hey, I needed time, blah, blah, blah. He seemed like it was kind of fake. It felt fake, but he tried to like pretend like he really cared. So, and by me telling him that and him still like talking to me like that, I felt like, I'm like, dude, like that was pretty messed up, And then I was thinking like, well, why am I even working for these people? Like it doesn't make any sense, But what's interesting is that, and I don't know, maybe it was a narcissistic supply from my boss or a narc injury, because I remember like coming in a room in the back office and saying like, hey, my last day is such and such day. And, he asked me, he's like, so may I ask why you're leaving? What happened? Is there anything I could do to change? But to be honest, it was all bull crap because, for one, narcissists don't change. And this guy, he just seemed like he was stuck in his ways. And I had previously heard of situations and things that had happened at the job where people, were being mistreated, and they kept saying that they were going to do things and they never did anything. You guys know what I mean? So, but yeah, he's like talking to me and saying like, who was it? We want to fix it and work on it. But deep down, he knew what it was. I mean, he was actually the problem as well. But he played the role, and long story short, he was like, yeah, we don't want to see you go. But I understand. And I was like, yeah. And he was actually saying, we would like for you to stay, and only he wanted me to stay to continue to abuse me and mistreat me. Right. It's not like because he really cared about me or knew that I worked hard. And I told him, I was like, because a lot of people were scared of him. And I'm like, it doesn't matter like what position you're in. I'm going to tell you like what's happening. Not that they really care. Narcissists don't care. But he was more of a very covert narc, like, and those to me are the most dangerous. But so anyways, I go on about my day, and it's funny because after he had that time where he like talked down on us, I literally wasn't saying anything, you guys. Like, it was so funny. Like, I literally just walked past someone. Usually, like, he'll even speak to me, but I wasn't even speaking to him or nothing, you guys. Like, it was so awkward. It was so weird, Oh, Crystal, you said I definitely am interested. Please pick you. Yeah, I'm gonna do the drawing tomorrow. So good luck to everyone. But yeah, so I wasn't speaking to him, you guys. But anyway, I finally came in, and like I said, I talked to him, and I told him like, today would have been my last day. But what's funny is that they really was trying to do things to get me to stay. You know how, like I said in that last video, narcissists don't want to let you go. We're supply, they'll do anything to make you stay, right? They was trying to be real nice to me and speak to me and just check in and say, hey, Joy, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And people was even like looking at me weird because I guess they had went around and they had said like, yeah, it's good, Joy is leaving, because they knew I was a real hard worker. And it's like, if you were to do something to me, it's like, obviously you guys are in the wrong, because I'm coming to work, I'm doing my job, and there's should be no issues. Nobody should be getting mistreated, but obviously that's not how it worked with them. But yeah, but it's funny because some of the last days that I was there, and because what they were doing wasn't working, because they really thought I was going to change my mind, and they ended up putting me in the freezer, you guys. Can you believe that? They ended up putting me in a freezer because, all right, so it was like a plant, like a factory, and they have different parts of the job there. And you have the part where you're in the factory, and then you have the cold area where you handle, because it's basically like we're dealing with pills and medicine and pharmaceutical medications and things like that, where you're basically just packing things into a box all day. It's like super easy job. Anybody could get hired. It was good for, a stepping stone. But after experiencing that mistreatment and understanding that I wasn't being appreciated, I wasn't valued at all, I'm like, why am I going to waste my time? Why am I going to waste my life? It's not worth it at this point, But yeah, they put me in a freezer. And I think that was their way of saying, yeah, we don't really care about you leaving anyway. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't working. And I was just so happy to leave, I was so happy. And it's funny because I told them my last day, but I ended up leaving a few days before, because I was just thinking like, I'm not even going to waste my time. Like, because they was mad, they was bitter, that I left. But yeah, that's on them. But I just shared this story because, I mean, narcissists are everywhere. Like, they can be in family, they can be like in your household, with family, or it could be like in a relationship, it could be at the job, even random people too, or it could be with friends as well. So just be mindful of that. But I had this question asked, and someone was wondering, like, if their boss is narcissistic, should they leave? Should they stay? and just wait it out. I always recommend leaving, but you want to leave if you have something else that you have planned. Because me, myself, I left because I had somewhere else to go. I wouldn't just say I'm leaving and don't have anything to do, because that wouldn't be a smart thing, but yeah, let me know, you guys, if you ever had a narcissistic boss and how you dealt with it. You know what I mean? So what are you up to, Crystal? What's going on this evening? You just chilling, hanging out? And don't forget, you guys, like, share, and subscribe to this channel if this resonates with you, or if you would like to receive more videos of me talking about narcissists, and or if you like my love oracle and my tarot readings. I really do appreciate it. I know I was on here a little late, you guys. I was planning on coming on here a lot earlier, but you know how that goes. But yeah, I just, and it's crazy. I was so happy that when I left, I was like, I can't believe I was working at this place. It was really bad. It was really bad. And yeah, but the lady though, I like the guy, I think he did a really good job of hiding his narcissism. But this lady that came from Plant One, like she didn't care. Like you could just, like she didn't want to hide it. She didn't want to hide like how hateful she was and how envious she was. And, like, again, I don't know if this lady was racist. I mean, that could have been it, but she was definitely narcissistic. I feel that for sure. She had the tendencies. She definitely had the tendency. And what's crazy is like, I never really talked to her like that. I mean, I just knew, like, I could just look at a person and I could just kind of get a feeling like they're not to be trusted. They're dangerous to be around. Don't trust that person. I just felt that with her. I never really had much to say to her. And I guess she never really had much to say to me, which is great. You guys know what I mean? So, but yeah, and like I said, I just remember, oh, and I'll tell you guys another thing that happened. So, working at those kind of factory jobs where you're doing the same motions with your hands over and over and over again, so I noticed that like my shoulder and my arm was hurting. And so, I had just got hired in. So, you have like the PTO stuff and they're saying like, hey, you can use it. And so I was talking to one of the line leads, and I was like, hey, like, I don't think I'm really feeling that well. I think I should probably go home. He was like, yeah, go ahead, use your PTO. And so I saw this lady that I thought was the narc. And I was like, hey, I think I'm going to use my PTO because my shoulder and my arm is hurting a little bit. And she was like, okay. She was like, you're going to use your PTO? I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. And then out of nowhere, as I'm about to head out, the other guy, he comes over and he was like, come over here, Joy. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, so your shoulder and your arm is hurting? I was like, yeah. It was almost like he was trying to see if I was lying or something. Just asking me questions and saying like, when did it start hurting? How long has it been? Have you previously had anything like this happen? Like almost like questioning me. And I'm sitting here thinking like, well, first of all, I'm hired in, you've given me this PTO, but technically you don't really want me to use it like that because you're questioning me like I'm some kind of criminal or like I'm lying. Like, you know what I mean? So I didn't appreciate that. And even, I started like telling him like, yeah, this is what's happening. He still was like trying to ask me questions, and finally he was like, okay, well, you have to talk to so-and-so. And then once, you gather that information, then you can head out. I was like, okay. So even going through all that, I just felt like, hey, get out of here. Sorry, guys. So that was a lot, So it's almost, it's like, yeah, they're giving us PTO time or they're giving us the time off, but it's like they really don't want us to have it, like it's crazy. And so that was like definitely a time where I was just like, I have to get out of here. Now, some people could say, well, they want to stick it out because, they have family, they have bills and things that they need to take care of, and they don't have that time and that luxury to be able to just leave. And I get it. I get it. But me, myself, I pray to God. I'm a very spiritual person. I could tell you, like, God is my everything. He's my best friend. He is anything and all that I will ever need in life. Trust me. Like, I mean, because I talk to God, I'm like, God, like, I don't appreciate how I'm being treated. And again, they was one of, like, I got hired in. So like when you get hired into a company, especially coming from an agency, they're going to be like, oh, so, you know, you're going to be here for a long time. You're going to be here for maybe like 5-10 years. You know, they were really like kind of, you know, saying how great this company is to work for. And I'm sitting here like, why would I work for you guys and I'm getting mistreated? Like, no, I'm not going to waste my life. Like, that's ridiculous. And the sad part about it, you guys, is like, I'll be talking to other people about, you know, what I was experiencing and, you know, how I was getting treated. And they just all kind of brushed it off. You know, they were used to it, you know, I mean, and they really, I guess they were thinking like, oh, if it didn't happen to them, then they don't have any worries. But I'm saying like, y'all going to get that sooner or later, you know. And then I'll give you guys another example, then I'll let you go. So we were having a time where we had to work on the weekends, right? So we work super hard the whole week, right? It's like an 8-hour job from like 3 to 11. You work hard, you know? And so I guess they were so busy that they needed us to come in on the weekend. But one of the weekends that we came in there, it was slow, super slow, right? Now, again, I don't know if this was because this lady was a racist or what. Or like I said, I really, truly do think that she was a narc, but that's just me. And again, please let me know, you guys, how you dealt with narcissistic boss. Have you had that experience? I'd love to hear it and how you dealt with it. And then, did you stay or did you decide to leave? But so it was a slow day. We did I think it was like an hour or two worth of work, but we were expected to stay there for the full 8 hours. So what they did is the line that I was on, it was me, this other girl, and then there was like 2 other people, right? And they basically said, okay, you guys clean this up and then you guys can go home early, right? And so we did our job. And what's interesting is that me and this other girl, we were both Black. We didn't get to go home, but it was the Hispanic girl and this white guy. They were able to go, right? The boss that I said that I think is a narc, she allowed them to go, but told us that we had to stay. And I'm thinking like, well, why is it that they were able to go, but we couldn't go, you know? So I was really kind of like confused by that. And I was like, okay, I kind of think I know why, you know what I mean? So, that again, I was like, do I really want to work for someone that's like this, you know? So, yeah, you guys, that it was a lot. And then, and I'll tell you the other time I mentioned this, but it was the time where I guess it was a lot. It was a big group of us, right? And we were working, but I guess our productivity, it wasn't as fast as they would have liked it, or it wasn't what they were expecting. So the lady that I think that was a narcissist, she just comes on the line. She was like, you guys need to pick it up. You guys need to go faster. What's the hold up? You know, talking to us like we're thugs or like we're, you know, like we're animals, you know, and she normally would not do anything like that. And then what's crazy, you guys, is one of the girls on the line, she actually started talking back to her. Like she's, you know, like she didn't care. Like she was like a lot younger. And, you know, she kind of piped down a little bit. She was like, you know, she was like, okay, like she can't do that. Because you guys know narcissists are cowards, right? Narcissists kind of like to go after soft targets, you know. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting job to work for. I'm so happy that I left because trust me, it wasn't getting any better. And I was just thinking like the money is just, it's not worth it, you know? So, yes, I hope that this video was helpful in some way. If you are at a job and you know that your boss is narcissistic, please take care of yourself. Know that God will support you in any way. Pray about it and just say like how it is that you're feeling, because that's literally what I did. And I just started to apply to other places, and I was working somewhere else. But the good thing is I was actually working from home, so that was a lot better. But yeah, you don't want to be in that position because, you know, if you have to deal with a narcissistic boss and you have to deal with the stress of the job, and maybe if you're dealing with a job where you guys have demands and deadlines, it's just going to cause you just overwhelmed and a lot of stress. And trust me, it's just a job. You know, so try to avoid the narcissistic bosses, or if you feel like you can't leave, just try to avoid that person. Just, again, no reaction, no emotions involved. You know, maybe talk to another boss if you can, if you know that particular boss is a narc, you know, and don't take it personal. If you feel like you have to stay, you've been there for so long, so many years, maybe you're in a good position. Because I know too, like, when I was telling people, I was like, yeah, I'm leaving, they would be like, oh, we understand. Like, they don't want to be there either, but they had been there for so long. It's like they wasn't going anywhere. But not only that, but they had like supervisor positions. They had like like team lead positions where, you know, they felt like, you know, they was making good money, you know. But I'm just like, dude, at the end of the day, it's not even about the money. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's about my mental, my emotional, my psychological health, because they knew that they was getting mistreated. And I'm just like, I'm not putting up with it. And you don't put up with that either, you know? So, but anyway, I hope that you guys like this video. I will be back on here on Wednesday. All right, give this video a like, share, and subscribe. All right, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to you later. Bye.